Hello students, for the past few classes we are learning about triangles. In the last class we have learned the theorem on areas of similar triangles. We have learned the ratio of the area of similar triangles will be equal to the square of the ratio of their corresponding sides. So using that theorem we have solved many problems. Now let us move on to the next theorem in this chapter, which is about Pythagoras theorem, which is a well-known theorem in a right-angled triangle, right? So here we are going to prove Pythagoras theorem using similarity criteria, right? So before we get into Pythagoras theorem, let us prove one more theorem which forms a base to prove our Pythagoras theorem. That is, if a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of a right triangle to the hypotenuse, then the triangles on both the sides of the perpendicular are similar to the whole triangle and to each other. I repeat, if a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of the right angle of a right triangle. So initially we have a right triangle. A perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of a right angle. ABC is a right triangle, right angled at C. So a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of the right angle of right triangle to the hypotenuse. We know the side opposite to right angle is your hypotenuse, right? So AB is your hypotenuse and we have drawn a perpendicular from C to AB such that triangles on both sides of the perpendicular are similar to the whole triangle and to each other, right? So we need to prove this part of the triangle is similar to this, and as well as this triangle is similar to the bigger triangle and this triangle is similar to the bigger triangle. That's what we need to prove. It is a very easy proof which follows easily. What is given in the theorem? ABC is a right triangle such that angle C is 90 degree. We have taken this angle as 90 degree, and as per the theorem, from C we should draw the perpendicular, alright? So this angle will be 90 degree. We need to prove those three conditions. So first let us consider triangle ACB, this full triangle, and triangle ADC, this half of the triangle, sorry. And what are all the things we infer? As we know, to prove the similarity, we need two angles to be equal or two sides and the included angle. Included angle should be equal, and the two sides should be proportion, or three sides should be in proportion. So let us search for an angle because we know few information about the angles here, right? So if we take this triangle and a full triangle, we see angle C equals to angle D equal to 90 degree. Yes, by our construction. And angle A is common for both the triangle because we are talking about this part of the triangle and the full triangle. Angle A is common. Therefore, by AA similarity criteria, automatically the two triangles have become similar, right? Similarly, if you take this part of the triangle and the entire triangle, we know angle B is common and angle C and angle D equal to 90 degree. Therefore, again by AA similarity criteria, these two triangles will become similar. But while writing similarity, again and again I am insisting, correspondence is very, very important. Simply don't write A, B, C, B, C, D. The correspondence is important. When we talk about these two, the first part, we know angle B is 90 degree, here angle D is 90 degree. So in the place of B, of sure you should write D. A is common. So where you have written A should be written. The other vertex you can replace there. Similarly, you write. And how can we prove that these two parts are similar? See, we have proved this entire triangle. The full triangle is similar to this. The full triangle is similar to the other part. Therefore, from 1 and 2, these two will be similar, which holds good for the similarity. If a polygon is similar to another polygon, and if the same polygon is similar to another polygon, then these two polygons will become similar. There is a statement. So these two triangles will become similar automatically, like our parallel lines. We used to say, right, if a line is parallel to another, then the three lines will become parallel to each other. The same way for the similar triangles. Yes, the proof is very easy. It follows easily by AA similarity criteria. Yes, hope you understood. So taking this as our base, we are going to prove our Pythagoras theorem and its converse. So this is what our Pythagoras theorem. What is Pythagoras told about right triangle? He said the hypotenuse square will be equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. This is well known theorem, right? Now let us see how can we prove this using similarity criteria. In a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Now we have a right triangle, right angled at B. We know side opposite to right angle only hypotenuse. So AC square is equals to AB square plus BC square. That's what we need to prove. But by the previous proof, we know the ABC triangle is similar to ADB. Similarly, this full triangle is similar to this, right? So we have taken that ABC is similar to this. If two triangles are similar, their corresponding sides will be in proportion, right? Therefore, AB by AD equals to AC. AB by AD equals to AC by AB. Similarly, the other side also BC by BD, but we are not interested. We need these two things only. That's why we have written, because we need the relationship based on that. So if you cross multiply, what will happen? AB into AB, which is equals to AC into AD. So AB square is equals to AD into AC. Similarly, if you take the full triangle and this part, we know both are similar, right? The same way, AB by BD is equals to BC by DC, which is equals to AC by BC, right? And again we are interested in this part because we are interested in the square, right? So take these two, then only if you cross multiply you will get square. BC into BC, AC into DC. Now add 1 and 2, what will happen? AB square plus BC square equals to AD into AC plus AC into DC. Now AC is common, take AC common, we get AD plus DC. But what is AD plus DC? Which is nothing but AC. Therefore, AD plus DC is AC. AC into AC is AC square. Thus, we proved AC square is equals to AB square plus BC square. Yes, hope you understood. No difficulty here. Everything follows easily, right? So, this is Pythagoras theorem. Then, what is converse of Pythagoras theorem? We know. What is converse of Pythagoras theorem? In a triangle, if square of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the angle opposite to the first side is the right angle. Yes, in a triangle, if square of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the angle opposite to the first side, in the sense the angle opposite to the hypotenuse, will be the right angle. They didn't mention the word hypotenuse here because only if we know it's a right angle, the side opposite to right angle will become a hypotenuse. Only if you know it is a right triangle, we will call that side as the hypotenuse. But here we are only going to prove it is a right angle. Then only it will become a right triangle. After that only we can name it as a hypotenuse. So they didn't use the word hypotenuse here. They have just used the word side. First side, second side. Yes. So the converse of Pythagoras theorem also follows. Is true, right? But the proof of this theorem is been omitted from your 2021 syllabus. But you should know how it's been proved using similarity criteria. It's very easy proof. It's been proved like this. We will construct another triangle in such a way AB equals to PQ and BC is equals to QR. Right angled at Q. Right angled at Q. We will construct a right triangle with these two sides equal to these two sides, right? Then by Pythagoras theorem, we know PR square is equals to PQR plus QR square. Then already it is given in the question that AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. So automatically this AC and PR will become equal, right? And already other two sides are equal. Therefore, these two triangles will become congruent by SSS congruency criteria. In congruency, what we know by CPCT, corresponding parts will be equal. So here angle Q is 90 degree, it will be equal to angle P, which is also 90 degree. And hence we proved, that's it, the angle opposite to AC has become 90 degree, right? But this proof has been omitted from your syllabus, but still you should know how things are happening, right? Okay, fine. Let us move on to exercise. So based on these theorems, we are going to solve our problems now. First problem in exercise 6.5, sides of triangles are given below. Determine which of them are right triangles. In case of a right triangle, write the length of its hypotenuse. So they have given you all the three sides. How will you find out it's a right triangle? By converse of Pythagoras theorem, if the hypotenuse square is equals to sum of the squares of the other two sides, it will become a right triangle. Which is hypotenuse? The longest side. So take the longest side, square it, and check whether it is equals to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. If it satisfies, it will become a right triangle, and the hypotenuse length you can write. So I am leaving this problem to you. Let us move on to the next question. PQR is a right angled triangle at P, and M is a point on QR such that PM is perpendicular to QR. Show that PM square is equals to QM into MR. What is given in the question? PQR is a right angled triangle at P and PM is perpendicular to QR. We need to prove PM square equals to QM into MR. This proof follows easily because just now we proved by the theorem. What we proved, if a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of the right angle, if the perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of the right angle, then the two triangles are similar, as well as this triangle is similar to the bigger triangle and this triangle is similar to the bigger triangle, right? So by the theorem, what we know by the theorem, if a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of right angle of a right triangle, we know that this triangle will be similar to this, right? So how will you write? The correspondence is very, very important. PMQ triangle, QMP triangle QMP is similar to triangle PMR. This how only we have proved in the previous theorem. You can go back and check once again. QMP is similar to triangle PMR in this order. QMP, PMR, right? So we know that if they are similar, their corresponding sides will be in proportion, right? What are their corresponding sides? QM by PM is equals to QM by PM equals to PM by RM, right? Why we have taken this alone? This is what we need. So if you cross multiply, what will happen? QM into RM equals to PM into PM. That is PM square equals to QM into RM. That's what we need to prove. So hence we proved. Right? So this is the direct application of the theorem, what we proved right now. Hope you understood. Let us move on to our third question. In figure 6.53, ABD is a triangle, right angled at A, and AC is perpendicular to BD. Show that AB square equal to BC into BD and AC square is equals to BC into DC and AD square equals to BD into CD, right? This is similar like our second question, and we have to use the theorem. What does the theorem says? If a perpendicular is drawn from the vertex of the right triangle, the two triangles will be similar and it is also similar to the entire triangle. So if you apply it repeatedly, you will get these results as we did for the second question. Second question is a part of this. If you take that this part of the triangle is similar to the bigger triangle, by correspondence criteria of the sides, you will get one statement true. And if you take this triangle and the whole triangle, you will get another statement. If you take the two triangles as similar, you will get the another statement. So it is just a simple application. So I am leaving this problem to you. If you have doubts, you can ask me. Now let us move on to the next question. ABC is an isosceles right angled triangle at C. Prove that AB square equal to 2AC square. This is also very easy. Let us see how can we prove this now. It is given ABC is an isosceles triangle. See, ABC is a right angled isosceles triangle and right angled at C. What do you know about isosceles triangle? Two sides are equal. So AC equals to BC. Right? We need to prove that AB square is equals to 2AC square. Yes. So how can we prove that? We know that ABC is a right triangle which is given in the question itself. Therefore, by Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square AB square equals to AC square plus BC square. But BC is equal to AC. So in the place of BC, let us replace it with AC only. Therefore, we got 2AC square. That's it. Easily the proof follows. We have applied Pythagoras theorem and in the question itself they have clearly given AC equal to BC. So replace BC by AC. We got our answer. Right? And the next question is just the converse of this. It is given ABC is an isosceles triangle with AC equal to BC, and if AB square equals to 2AC square, this is given in the question. If under this condition, we need to prove ABC is a right triangle, right? So ABC is an isosceles triangle with AC equal to BC is given. Also, AB square equal to 2AC square. We need to prove that it is a right triangle. Now let us start with the given thing. AB square equal to 2AC square. 2AC square means AC square plus AC square. But instead of AC, we can replace it with BC because AC and BC are equal. Yes. Therefore, by converse of Pythagoras theorem, what we know, if one side square is equals to sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the angle opposite to that side is a right angle, right? So AB square is this. The angle opposite to AB square is AB is C. Therefore, angle C is 90 degree. If one angle is 90 degree in a triangle, it will become a right triangle. Therefore, ABC is a right triangle. Hence, we proved. Right? Hope you understood the fourth and the fifth question. Let us move on to the next question now. Now let us see how can we prove our next question. It is given ABC is an equilateral triangle of side 2A and they asked you to find the length of all its altitudes. We know in an equilateral triangle all the altitudes are equal in length. Therefore, it is enough if we find any one altitude. So, ABC is an equilateral triangle and AD is an altitude. We supposed to find the length of AD. First of all, what is meant by altitude? Altitude is a line drawn from the vertex, perpendicular line drawn from the vertex to the opposite side. Altitude is nothing but the height. Height is the perpendicular distance, right? And altitude in all cases will not bisect its opposite sides, but in an isosceles triangle it will bisect. Okay, every equilateral triangle is an isosceles triangle, right? Because in equilateral triangle all the three sides are equal. For isosceles triangle we need only two sides to be equal. Therefore, in equilateral triangle as well, the altitude bisect the opposite sides. How in an isosceles triangle altitude bisect the opposite side? By congruency. See, if you take these two triangles, we know this angle is 90 degree, this angle is also 90 degree, and since these two sides are equal, these two angles will become equal and AD is a common side, right? So we got two angle and one side. So AAS similarity. For two angles and one side, it is not necessary the side to be the included side. Therefore, by AAS criteria, the two triangles will become congruent. Under congruency, the corresponding paths are equal. Therefore, BD will be equal to DC. Right? So, that's how in an isosceles triangle, the altitude bisect the opposite side. That proof is not necessary when you are solving this problem, but you should know. If you don't know that, you cannot solve this problem. So you have to write in an isosceles triangle, altitude will bisect the opposite side, and hence Hence in triangle ABC, AD will bisect BC, that is BD is equal to DC. We know BC is 2A, every side is 2A, therefore BD is equals to DC is equals to A, right? Now in triangle ADB, we know angle D is 90 degree. By Pythagoras theorem, what we know? Hypotenuse square, AB square is equals to AD square plus BD square. But we need AD square, therefore AD square is equals to AB square minus BD square. I brought this BD to the other side, which is equals to, what is the length of AB? 2A. So 2A the whole square minus the length of BD is A square. So this is going to be 4A square minus A square, which is 3A square is AD square. So this implies AD is equals to root 3A. Root 3A. Therefore the length of the therefore length of the each altitude of equilateral triangle with side 2A is root 3A. Yes, hope you understood. If you don't get this point, we cannot solve this problem. So this is very, very important, and don't blindly say altitude will bisect the opposite side. All altitudes in all triangles will not bisect, only the median will bisect. Altitudes will be only perpendicular to the opposite side, it will not bisect. Only in the isosceles triangle and hence in equilateral triangle it will bisect. Remember that too by the congruency. Yes, hope you understood. Let us move on to our next question. Let us solve the next question. They asked you to prove in a rhombus sum of the squares of the sides is equals to sum of the squares of its diagonals. So it is given ABCD is a rhombus. We need to prove sum of the squares of its sides is equal to sum of the squares of its diagonals. That is AB square plus BC square plus CD square plus DA square is equals to AC square plus BD square. That's what we need to prove. Okay. Again, an important property of rhombus you should know. What is that? We know that in a rhombus diagonals bisect each other at 90 degree. In square and rhombus diagonals bisect at 90 degree, and even in kite you should know. But in all the other quadrilaterals it will bisect, but only in rhombus, square and kite it will bisect at 90 degree. This is very, very important, you should remember. So using this property only the entire solution of this problem lies. So if we know it bisect at 90 degree, therefore each angle will be 90 degree. At the same time this part of the diagonal will be equal to this part because it bisects. Similarly this part will be equal to this part. Alright. Now consider every small triangle and we apply Pythagoras theorem because we know it bisects at 90 degree. Therefore if you take triangle AOB, we know AB square, the side opposite to 90 degree is your hypotenuse. So AB square equals to AO square plus BO square. Similarly here BC square is equals to BO square plus OC square. In this triangle CD square is equals to OC square plus OD square. In this triangle AD square is equals to DO square plus OA square. And now let us add all the four. So that left hand side we got sum of the squares of all the sides. Right hand side what we got? 2 times AO square, 2 times BO square, 2 times CO square, 2 times DO square. So twice all the part of the diagonals. Now AO we can write it as half of AC. AO we can write it as half of AC because we know diagonals bisect each other. AO is equal to OC. So AO we can write it as half of AC or AC divided by 2. Whole square is there. So whole square you should write. Similarly OB can be written as BD by 2 the whole square. OC is again AC by 2. See, OA and OC are the half of AC. OB and OD are the half of BD. Yes, so we have written. Now simplify. How can we add? We can add these two, right? 2 times AC by 2 the whole square. AC by 2 the whole square is nothing but AC square divided by 2 2s are 4. But we have 2 times. Similarly, 2 times BD square by 4. I have taken 2 out again. Common. 2 is common here. Already one 2 is there. So 2 2s are 4. We got AC square plus BD square divided by 4. Common denominator. So 4 4 will get cancelled. So we got AC square plus BD square. Thus, the sum of the squares of the sides is equals to sum of the squares of the diagonals. Right? So again, the entire proof may be easy. Only thing, if you don't know that the diagonals bisect each other at 90 degree in a rhombus, we cannot proceed your solution. So all these properties which you have learnt, you should remember. Yes? Okay, let us move on to the next question. Let us solve our next question. It is given ABC is a triangle. ABC is a triangle in which OD is perpendicular to BC, OE is perpendicular to AC, and OF is perpendicular to AB. We have to prove 2 things. Right? On looking at the thing, don't get panic. It's simple only. So always start from what you want to prove. We need OA square, OB square, OC square, right? So first see where is OA. OA line is not given in the figure. So let us join and see. So this is your OA and this is going to be your OB and this is going to be your OC, right? So we need OA. So let us consider this triangle, and if this is 90 degree, this is also going to be 90 degree only, right? So let us apply Pythagoras theorem in this triangle now. So in triangle AOF, angle AFO is 90 degree. Therefore, by Pythagoras theorem, what we have? This is 90 degrees, so which is hypotenuse? OA. So OA square is equals to OF square plus AF square. Mark this as 1. Similarly, in triangle OFB, right? In triangle BOF, what we have in this smaller triangle? OB square is equals to OB square is equals to OF square plus BF square. But we don't need this. See, we have OB square. Once we got OF, but we don't need BF. Instead, we need BD. So consider this triangle. Consider this triangle. So what we will get? This we don't need, right? So OB square can be written as OB square is equals to, OB is hypotenuse in this triangle, angle D is 90 degree, right? So OB square is equals to OD square plus BD square. Mark this as 2. No need of this. Mark this statement is also true, but we don't need this for our proof. This statement is also true because angle F is 90 degree, right? So let us mark this as 2. Similarly, in triangle, again we don't need this triangle. Take this triangle now. Take this triangle, okay? So what we know from that? Which angle is 90 degree? Here this angle is 90 degree. Therefore, in triangle COE, OC square is equals to OE square plus CE square. Mark this as 3. Now add 1, 2 and 3. What we will get? Adding 1, 2 and 3, we get OA square plus OB square plus OC square equals to OF square plus AF square plus OD square plus BD square plus OE square plus CE square. But when you analyze the thing which you need to prove and what you got, if you see this OF, OE and OD are with the negative on the other side. So let us bring all those things to the other side. We get, this implies OA square plus OB square plus OC square minus OF square minus OD square minus OE square is equals to AF square plus BD square plus CE square. That's what we need to prove. Right? First part we got automatically. Let us prove the second part. AF square, from 1 what we have, AF square plus BD square plus CE square, this what we have. But second part what we need to prove is this is equals to AE square. AE square is this, right? AE square plus CD square, this plus BF square. So we need to prove this is equals to AE square plus CD square plus BF square. That's what we need to prove. So let us rearrange these terms in order to get this. Now how can we get this AE? We have OA, and in order to get AE we need OA and OE, right? This AE square can be written as OA square minus OE square, because this is a right triangle and this is your hypotenuse. OA is going to be your hypotenuse. So this side can be obtained by subtracting the other side from the hypotenuse, right? So AE can be written as OA square minus OE square. So do we have OA and OE here? Yes, OA square and OE square. So combine those two, OA square minus OE square plus, similarly next we need CD. CD can be written as OC square minus OD square. OC square minus OD square. So OC square minus OD square, right? Plus, to get our BF can be written as BF, how will you write? OB square minus OF square. At last we have OB square and OF square. So this is OB square minus OF square. So this is nothing but AE square plus CD square plus BF square. That's what we need to prove. Hence we proved. So don't get panic on looking at the question. Slowly start your proof. What are all the things you know, you do, write it on your paper. Automatically you will get your answer. On looking at the thing what you need to prove, don't get panic, right? Now let us see the next question. Now see the next question, 9th one. A ladder 10 meter long reaches a window 8 meter above the ground. Find the distance of the foot of the ladder from base of the wall. So it's very easy and direct application of Pythagoras theorem. What is given? There is a ladder, see, and it is placed on the window. Ladder will be in a slanting way. We will place our ladder in a slanting way, right? So this is the window from the base of the wall. There is a window 8 meter long above the ground. So this is 8 meter and the ladder is 10 meter long. They asked you to find the distance of the foot of the ladder from the base of the wall. So they asked you to find this, and it is clearly seen this is 90 degree, right? And use Pythagoras theorem. We know hypotenuse square is equal to sum of the squares of the other two sides. Therefore, easily you can find what is AB, right? I am leaving this problem to you. The next question is also in the same way. A guy wire attached to a vertical pole of height 18 meter is 24 meter long. Understand the question properly and take your values. Vertical pole height is 18 meter and the guy wire length is 24 meter. Has a stack attached to the other end. How far from the base of the pole should the stack be driven so that the wire will be taut? What is meant by guy wire? Guy wire is like a supporting wire which is given to the vertical tower or pole, right? So this is your vertical pole which is 18 meter long, and this is a wire which is attached to the pole to the ground. Some stack is given here. They asked you to find how far from the base of the pole should the stack be driven so that the wire will be taut, so that the wire will be straight without any loosen, it will be straight. So how far it should be stretched, the distance from here to here they asked, right? Again it is clearly Pythagoras theorem. Apply Pythagoras theorem and get your answer. So I am leaving 9 and 10 to you. So with this, let us wind up today's class. In today's class we have learned 3 theorems. One is the base to solve our Pythagoras theorem, which says a perpendicular drawn from the vertex of the right angle to the opposite side, and then the two triangles made by the perpendicular will be similar, and it will be similar to the whole triangle as well. Using this, we have proved our well-known Pythagoras theorem and its converse. So based on these 3 theorems, we have solved problems from exercise 6.5. We will continue this exercise in the next class. Do these problems as homework from exercise 6.5, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you, students.